full disclosure, I didn't go to college. Like I don't have that background. So for me to do it, I said if I'm an author, they gonna respect. I feel like if you were an author, they start looking at you. Oh, you an author? You wrote a book. You wrote a book. All right, go ahead. Good for him. So that's I'm like, I can get some respect. Y'all gonna respect me.
We kicking it, kicking it, kicking it. We ain't taking no L's. I don't care how they feel.
On this week's episode of Kickin It Wit Killa, I have the host of Hats Off, G-Jones. We're going to talk about everything that he has going on right now. So make sure you pull up your seat, spark that brain, and let's kick it. G-Jones. What's going on with you, brother?
Another day in paradise, good brother.
I understand, man. Like, we go back a little bit, Choice Media days, you know what I'm saying? Definitely have both of us have evolved since then, man. I think that was like, a definitely good spot in life that we had at that time, you know what I'm saying? But before we really dig deep into what's going on now with you, what I want to do is jump into this thing that we call the quick kick, all right? So we're gonna start off with this, right? Nas or Common?
Common can get more intricate with bars than Nas can.
Right. Yes.
Nas is a better storyteller. Nas can make more poignant songs that connect with people and has the greatest album in hip hop, Illmatic. So, Nas.
The greatest.
And I'm a whole fan.
So, okay, here we go. Next one. Here we go. Black Thought or Mos Def?
That's hard. That's a hard question. I'm going Black Thought because Philly right there. And
right.
And we started off with lyricists. I think Black Thought is a better lyricist than Mos Def. Mos Def makes better songs as an artist. So it depends on what you want. But as far as whose pen, Black Thought's pen is I don't know a better pen than Black Thought. You gotta go there's only like 3 or 4 pens that can talk to Black.
Right.
But what he can do with music, sound, and just everything is just different. But
here we go. We're gonna switch up the questions a little bit, just a little bit. All right. Spoken word vibes or lyricism?
I'm gonna say spoken word vibes, but that's a very hard question because it depends on what the room is. Depends on who you're performing to. Right? That's very hard based on what you're doing and who you want to connect to and how that connection is. I think so. Here's what happens in poetry and even in rap. You can be super lyrical miracle and you can go with such an intricate word. And and I say this as a poet, if you do that, you're more of a page poet. That means they need to read it 2 or 3 times to capture what you're saying. When I'm performing, I gotta be able to connect with people on the spot. Unless you're in a room that's made for poetry, which is dope. I just happen to go into mixed rooms. So I got to be able to make sure that my spoken word vibe can touch to everybody in how I'm cooking. You see what I'm saying? But it's just a different energy to me versus somebody who's a page poet or only does poetry spaces. That then your lyricism away. That's the point. You know what I mean?
We got one more, right? And we're going to talk about bars, right? So we want to go with bars that'll make you think, or do you want to go with just straight fire bars that'll make you feel? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I give this example. To me, a Kendrick verse gets really intricate, and sometimes you have to listen to it 2 or 3 times because of how intricate a Kendrick verse is. J. Cole is very direct in a lot of what he says. He's spitting. J. Cole gonna kill it, but he not. You're never gonna feel. I'm never gonna feel lost in the middle of a J. Cole verse. A Kendrick verse, you could blink and be like, "Where am I at?" You know what I'm saying? You stop paying attention.
Right. Yeah.
You are now don't know what that boy talking about no more because you should stay focused. Okay. Cole, you might have been able to drop out and come back, and you still know what Cole was talking about. In this era, even if I went back in the time, if you dropped out of a Biggie verse and dropped back into a Biggie verse, you could pick up what he was talking about rather easily. Versus if you dropped out of a Ghostface verse and you drop back into a Ghostface verse, you don't know why those wallabies is lips pillow. Okay, you don't know why. Like you here now, okay, and now you better catch up because they are so lost in lingo and lyricism that whoa. And so if that's what it is, I personally will go with the person. I enjoy the, what's the word, the super complicated lyricism at times where you got to listen it back 2 or 3, all that. Like I like the clear stuff too, though. Like I like you just feel it. You feel it because it talks to you and it's clear. You know it's where we're going. You know, Biggie's definitely one of the greatest. But I love a good, like, wait, did he say that? Hold on, wait. But it meant that when he said, oh, wait. You know, I'm a fan. So.
And I think I like those bars that make you think, right? Because sometimes I'll be riding and you know, I might have the wife beside me and we listen to something. I'll be like, whoa, did you hear what he said? He said, da, 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 da. You get that? And so she's like, oh, okay. And then we keep going. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Did you hear that? He said, you know what I'm saying? Like almost make you have to stop the thing, repeat the bar, and then say, let's start it all over again. Let me drop a bomb on it and start it from the beginning because I need to listen to this thing all over again. You know what I'm saying?
When Andre 3000 said, then I CC'd every girl that I had CC'd around town. And it was like, hold on, is he using email lingo? Okay, did he use email lingo? Okay, hold on, wait. When he says CC, he meant like CC, like email CC? Yo, like super simple, but lyrical as hell. Like
bars.
Hold up, did he just say that? Rewind that whole verse back. The amount of times that you listen to international players.
Exactly. It makes you want to rewind it. You got to start all over from the beginning again. Right? You know what I'm saying?
I sent the text to this girl I used to.
One song. Like I was telling you, like I was mentioning, we originated from the Choice Media, right? And ever since then, we've kind of developed on to our different platforms that we've gone on to, right? You now have a show called Hats Off. How did that develop? What was the whole process behind that?
Fun fact, I'll tell you this story. I never thought I was going to be in front of the camera doing my own podcast myself. That was never the plan. The plan was always, I was always in a production role. When I met you at Choice Media, I was more in a production role. I wasn't in a space of actually doing the thing like me. Like I wasn't the guy, right? I was program manager for the station and stuff like that. So since then, I had done a couple different podcasts. Me and my boy Tuck, we did one called Board and DE. We did one called Life with Uncle Tuck. We did like 2 or 3 joints. One where he was DJing and I was just talking stuff. I also did one called Ayo, where we were having kind of social commentary, talking about relationships, different conversations like that. But again, in all of those roles, I was a co-host and a producer. To me, I wasn't trying to be the guy. Long story short, when I wrote my book and I was performing as a poet, and I got into this space of the business of poetry and the business of performance and the business of these things, I was like, well, I need to have a vehicle to tell people about the things that are going on, because people don't know generally about stuff that's happening. So if I can interview people who are like I get the keys from the gatekeepers. I talk change with the change makers. If I can talk to the people who getting it cooking, then I will automatically be able to also promote what I got going on and kind of open up the door, right? So if I'm helping everybody win,
right,
then I can eat too. And so then that was the original thought of Hats Off. Now it's actually kind of evolved since then, ironically, but that was the original. Let me talk to people who are holding events or doing things within a 90-day swing, like 90 days forward or 90 days back. They had something, and I'm interviewing the people who actually made the thing happen, so people can know what's going on. And that was the original idea behind Hats Off.
Which brings me to an event that you had last year, right? And we're coming up on Valentine's Day. This event last year, I happened to go to, and it was definitely an amazing event, right? We had yourself on stage. We had a young lady by the name of Maya, and y'all did something together. So behind the scenes, how long did it take for that to come together, right? Did you have to do numerous, let's practice a couple times just to get this thing together? Were you more or less like, okay, this is the outline, I'm going to go ahead and freestyle like I normally do the other portions of it? Like, how did that whole thing come together?
Killa Noise said, well, let me in the kitchen. Show me how you make the cake. I want to see how you make the cake, brother. Don't he said, I need to see how you make that cake. Okay. All right.
listen, right? So we both come from choice, right? And I'm gonna say we choice media babies. You know what I'm saying? We were doing stuff beforehand and we're doing stuff afterwards. So being choice media babies essentially is what we are, right? Mr. G kind of molded us. R.I.P. Mr. G. Mr. G kind of molded us. And being there, we definitely did a lot of the behind the scenes stuff for different artists that would come through there, right? So I know some of that stuff, if not all of that stuff, had to rub off on you in the process, right? Because it definitely did for me, working with Herb Middleton in the engineering booth, right? Doing stuff like that. Just everything that was coming through there, I was able to learn a lot and carried on with me. So I know your brain is in the same place that my brain's at. You know what I'm saying? So I know there was more. I know you didn't half-ass it because you definitely didn't do it. It was a great performance, cool vibes. It was on point, like something that you need to do annually. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, let me in the kitchen. I'm putting my apron on. Let me in the kitchen. I'm trying to figure out how you cook this thing up. You know what I'm saying?
Full disclosure, the performance that y'all got on Valentine's Day was the fourth time I've done a show like that. So I've done it with Harvey Road, which is another great local band here. I've done it with an artist named Ty Math. Well, Harvey Road does soul and like hip hop. Ty Mathis does like folk and like country. I did one with him. I did one with Naja Nicole. She's an R&B singer. That was my very first one. So and then I did one with Ty Mathis. No, I mentioned Ty Mathis, and I did one with Aziza, who is an R&B singer, and a gentleman named Cosmic Kai, who's a local rapper too. And I created this world of poetry and this storyline, and we go. So the process essentially is I connect with the artist, and then after that, like I know what my job is always to make it a light lift for them. I don't want them to have to like it had to be extra hard for them. So here's what we're going to do. They give me a list of about 7 songs. I take those 7 songs, I listen to them, and I create a storyline, like key points, right? We're going to talk about this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this, right? So essentially I came up with the outline of saying, all right, so now me and Maya are going to be cousins. And so because we're going to be cousins, she's going to be convincing me to love. It's a Valentine's Day event. So she's going to be convincing me to love, and I'm going to be convincing her why I'm good, but in a loving way because of the poetry that I'm going to spit and the songs that she's going to do. So because literally I'm looking at the list and flipping them on, okay, what can I sing here? She sings this. What can I say poetry wise? Like what theme can I take it to that connects well, right? So when she did Killing Me Softly, if you listen to King Killing Me Softly, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly, in that thing, I thought about, well, what if I'm a poet who she fell in love with? You fell in love with my performance because you liked how I did it, but now it's killing you softly because every time you see me, I'm still talking about my real life, and you're a part of that now. Now you don't like it no more, right? So I can weave in and out with poetry that now connects to now she's singing the same story. And I use that, in that show, I use that as an example of why I'm good on love. I'm not trying love because will she fall in love with me for my poetry? And then it's too real for her, except for we said that through poem and song. And
right.
So that's how it's made. Then after I come up with the themes, I kind of I send it to the artist. Me and the artist have a conversation throughout, blah, 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 depending on the situation and when we meet and whatnot. So she practices her songs with the band. And in that situation, we did like a run through conversation of it, but I don't, the poetry is pretty improv. I'll have themes that I know exactly what I'm gonna talk about, but I still may have somebody give me a word, and that word will now apply to what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to make it apply, right? I'm going to lean in. So now it becomes interactive between the crowd, between me, the band's there. They might start rocking. It becomes this whole world that can feel 100% improv, even though we only gonna add a little feeling over here. It's really, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna yeah. But it's made to feel so interactive and engagement, like it's all just that, you know what I mean?
How did you notice that you had that talent of being able to do the spoken word and the poetry like that? Like what I know you say you wrote a book first, right? So what made you, I gave you the idea of writing the book, and then after that, what kind of like sparked, G Dash Jones is the man that's going to say, give me 3 words and then watch how I flip this. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did that even start?
COVID comes. I had been at Comcast for 14 years. I was a trainer. COVID comes, they wind up getting rid of a nice amount of their training staff, including me. Boom, right? Anybody who's been at a job for like when you at a company for a long period of time, you look at, oh, I could retire here. I could really. No, I'm not gonna do that. Shouts out to everybody who retired where you at. Salute. We need people to do that.
I mean, well, you were at 14 years. You had 6 more years left, and you could have got that retirement going on. You know what I'm saying? You're right there.
There you go. I thought that was real for me. And anyway, they let me go. You go through dark periods when, I mean, they paid me, but you go through dark periods when your ego get hit like that. Salute to Shayna Shane, aka Blue Tulip. She had me at the time working on this. We had to grade this youth entrepreneur project. Cool. Like she just asked me. She had youth entrepreneurs doing the thing, so I had to still be active at that point, because again, I'm getting paid from Comcast, but I'm in a dark space, and I'm like, all right, I'm still getting active. I'm working on, I'm helping her with that. And it was a youth basketball tournament too that came up right after that. So I'm still doing stuff, and I got like, let me start looking for a job soon. But I'm like, I don't want to put my career in the hands of these people again. Like, so what can I do? So I said I was going to try to be a motivational speaker. Like maybe I could get on stages because they look like they're getting good bread to do that. So I could do this. I could go up there. Yeah, let me inspire somebody or something. But full disclosure, I didn't go to college. Like I don't have that background. So for me to do it, I said if I'm an author, they gonna respect. I feel like if you're an author, they start looking at you. Oh, you're an author. You wrote a book. All right, go ahead. Good for him. So I'm like, I could get some respect. Y'all gonna respect me. So I wrote the book. The book came from an old song that I did, that I took the 3 verses of the song and I broke it. I took the first verse and broke it into all themes for a poem and some older works that I had written, and made a bunch of life lessons. And that's where Day by Day Volume 1 was born. Again, it was to give me credibility as enough to be a public speaker and a performer. That was the thought. The other side of this is my performance pieces and give me a word and doing the improv poetry. Okay, I could do that since hip hop. I'm a child of Lyricist Lounge Show. Like I'm a child of getting in freestyles and freestyling. Like you could be like 2 things that me and you remember people doing at parties and clubs is you could be in the middle of especially a party, a house party. You could see a circle of brothers in the corner freestyle. That could happen.
Yep.
In the pub, the same way that you guys serve could have a circle of people really dancing at a party. Like really, like I don't know what happened. The beat came up, everybody's like, the boy in the Adidas tracksuit always start to snap. You know what this is? The same way you're gonna have them dudes over there, and it's not even that they couldn't get bras, they just happen to be rapping right now. Like it's like that was real. Like that, yo, put the beat on real quick. Like this was real freestyling. It used to
freestyling. Yes.
That's where that word comes from to me. So I used to rap like that. That wasn't nothing. And then it wasn't. And then I started getting onto stages to perform, but I was doing open mics like in 2016, 2017. But to me, none of that it wasn't that real. It was a part of what I could do, but I didn't want to be called the Improv Poet because I had a book to sell. So that was like I had been doing it, but that wasn't it. When it became real, all right, instead of capitalism is competition. How do I word this? This is a story I haven't told publicly, so I gotta be careful. There were people who I knew that would get on stages and say, hey, y'all ain't never seen this before, or y'all never heard me. I ain't about to do something different. I'm about to do something y'all ain't seen before, and then be like, give me a word. And they would ask the crowd to give me a word. Or to give them a word, and they would do the thing. And this happened more than once. And I'm with my peoples at these spots, seeing this happen. And these are people whose shows I had hosted. These are people who so they have seen me do this, but I didn't like this was mine. I did it like, I do this as a part of my hosting novelty set, because again, I didn't want to be known as an improv poet. It was just like a part of a fun thing I could do while before or after I do a written. It's an engagement play. It was never meant to be like my performance piece. My performance piece is what I wrote because I'm gonna sell you that. That's how I was thinking. Right. So I almost took this talent somewhat for granted that way until I'm seeing people do it, and my peoples is tapping me like, gee, that's just, I thought that was yours. They doing your stuff, G. They doing your stuff, G. How you feel about it? They said it's new. They said it was new. I know that you did it in front of them, but they said it's new.
They said you ain't never seen this before, but let me show you what I created.
Right. And the hip hop person in me don't even own it myself. Like that improv level that I take it to, it became a part of my brand, but that's hip hop. Like we just did that. Like that's word association and flow. Is if you was nice, you could do that. But that's not like you mentioned Black Thought. They do this. So I don't even need to take ownership of something that gets done. But when y'all acting like this, it didn't always come out the best, in my opinion. And at times, there was one time, and salute to the homie. I'm not saying no names, but salute to the homie. I'm at his event. I was showing support. He did the thing. He did the improv, give me a word thing. And his man looked and was like, yo, if y'all thought that was good, wait till G Dash go. Like I didn't even sign up to go. Like I don't know if I'm going. Like what are we doing? Like
right.
So then for me locally, I should say brand wise, it became an intentional move to make sure I did it with the mayor. So I did one with Przicki, the mayor of Wilmington at the time. I did one. I made sure to start doing it at public events. I made sure to start. So I made it. It became a branding play. Now, okay, cool. And I don't want to lead this part out. In the middle of that happening, a mentor of mine, her name is Dr. Tracy Curry. I'm doing an event. Somebody introduced me as an improv poet. I was pissed. I had a book to sell. That's how I looked at it. And it was my homie, and it was his event. And he was like, "Gee, we got the improv poet, G. Dash Jones." And I said, "The improv what? Like I got books in hand. Like I'm not. What are we talking about, right?" And then I talked to my mentor, and I asked her. I was like, "Why would he introduce me like that? Like, yeah, I did an improv." But that's a crowd warm up thing. And then I get into the thing and I get into my written. And she's like, well, and she was like, if it's not hurting you, why are you fighting the current? Let that be your brand. If that's what she was like, because you can do improv, you think you can't like that you think people gonna think you can't write now? Like you're illiterate? Like that's not like that's not how that works. Like it doesn't stop it for you to do the improv thing. It doesn't stop it for you to lean in on it. It doesn't hurt you for you to lean on it. It just makes you stand out. Then it becomes, all right, let me just brand this as me. Let me make this a part of the things I do regularly. And I started giving myself missions. I practice it on a regular basis. Every year I have different things I'm working on throughout the year with my improv. It is a blessing, but it is a gift that I work on pretty regularly.
Crazy how this is something that you try to run away from, right? And the more you try to run away from it, the closer you got to it. It's in a sense, it's a talent that God gave you, and you were trying to deny it at that time. But at some point in time, you decided to embrace it, and look where it's bringing you now, right? Where you can still sit back and you can do your improv, and then go back and still talk about that book that you wrote. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes that happens. Sometimes people kind of have to, sit back and realize this is it, right? This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like somebody, like I stepped away from the interview process for a little bit until somebody recently came up to me and was just like, "Hey man, you used to kill it doing interviews. Why don't you do it again? Why aren't you doing it now? Like, did you ever think about doing a podcast and interviewing people and stuff like that?" And I'm like, nah, never thought about it. Not at all. Right. I'm probably, I don't know, let's say I'm 6 months into it now. Right. And I think I've made a pretty decent impact just because I embraced the talent that I'm good at. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the same thing that you're doing, right? You just gotta pay attention. Sometimes God puts you there and says, this is what you're supposed to be doing, right? Like all of us started off as rappers. Like there's a lot of different people that I've interviewed that started off as rappers, and that's what we wanted to do, right? And let's think about Kev, right? Hennessy Kev, as we once know him, but Kev 1122 now, right? A rapper at that time, and look how much of an amazing manager he is now, right? Doing his thing. The rapping stuff, that music started us, and it branched us off into a whole bunch of different things. You know what I mean? So, hey, kudos to you for embracing it. You're killing it now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I bet you can't do it now, though.
All right. Well, before we do that, here's what I want to say to that salute thing, right?
Right.
And I never kind of thought about this point before now, but when you're, as being a child of hip hop, so Well, I could write poetry because I was inspired by Langston Hughes. I could write poetry because I'm inspired by LL Cool J and Biggie and like hip hop too. Their that penmanship, right? Our era of R&B, the penmanship,
yes,
right, was like there's a lot of done in how that affects kind of us as artists. Now, here's the trick, right? Here's what I'm making you think about. Yes, that's how we got into some of the things we do musically, even you as a DJ, right? All the things. The other side of it is this part. Well, we grew up on Fab Five Freddy, Ed and Dre, Angie Martinez. Like Angie Martinez is in New York, and there's interviews of hers that you know what I'm saying? Like what you go, what you mean, Angie Mar? Like Sway, Sway all the way over there. How Sway? How Sway? Yes. Okay, he made valid. Sway made valid points in that conversation. I remember. Okay. Joe Clear, I still follow him till this day. Like the world will talk about Tig big and salute to Tig, but you and I are from an era that's just before Tig, where like we saw hip hop in the interviews, like salute to what Elliot Wilson is now, but we came from like the era of watching it this way and of watching it on TV, Yo MTV Raps, Rap City, you know, just all that. Yeah, so now when you look at your style of interviewing, even the quick time, you know, if while it fast forwards to the drink champs that do it, while it fast forwards to how you do your opening quick spots, and you know what I mean. But these things go back. These are things that we kind of hip hop got us there from them. We watched hip hop interviews, so we kind of knew. Oh, that's how it cooked. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do it. And yes, I can always do it, man. I do poetry, man. I got bars. That's light. But you know what I'm saying? I went to get some flowers for people first.
He said light work. That's light work real quick. Light work.
You want to give me a word, I give you a poem. That's what I do.
All right. So let's go with time. Let's go with focus. And let's go with vision.
I'm thinking I need to focus so I can have the right vision throughout time. I mean, it's so hard because life be distracting us all the time. It don't really care what's going on, at least in my mind. Most of the time, they trying to waste my time, take my time, and pray that I will allow them to replace my time. It's funny because I'm not trying to allow that to happen, but for me to focus, it means I can't allow for the distraction. But I've been scrolling for so long that I'm looking at the next Venezuelan action. I mean, I've been scrolling for so long. I'm looking for how ice turned the body cold because his hand was rattling. I mean, I've been scrolling for so long that I can't even believe that men and women that are black act like we can never get along. I've been scrolling for so long. Sorry, I'm lost in a distraction again. Maybe it's not even real. Maybe it's just what they feed me as long as I get to picking up that phone and scrolling again. I know I need to do something better with my time. Okay. But because I don't plan on moving my eyes off of the vision. Yo, I got to double tap on that behind. Okay, now I'm putting my phone down. Okay. Maybe I've been looking for too long. Again, I have the wrong things that I'm wasting my time on, and I'm using my time to focus on. So now I am out of focus most of the time, even though they're always watching me, even if my own camera is on. But the body cams is off. See, I'm trying to figure out what does focus cost. Probably my attention. Probably a few things that have me lost in this confusing world that I'm too ashamed to mention. So my ego will act like I'm always focused, even though my goals are stuck in a place of resentment. All right, back to the vision, because that's what I'm supposed to be focused on anyway. The better version of me that does everything daily, from meditate to fall to his knees and pray. The version of me that hits the gym every day just to curl a few weights, but understanding that the version of me that has the patience to become the best version isn't afraid of the time it takes to wait. I understand. I can hear the plan, and trust me, I'm listening. The question is, will I take the time to focus on my vision? I mean, you asked me if I could do this, right? And that's like walking up and saying, check up. Yes, I can do this. Yes, check up. All right, let's go. Like if you do like that.
Yo, so what we got going on? What's coming up for you, brother?
Saturday 17th, I'm doing January 17th. I have Poetry Battle in Philly that I'm hosting. So check out Poetry Battle DPA. So it's Delaware and Pennsylvania. So Delaware Poetry Battle DPA on Instagram, or the Poetry Battle DPA at gmail.com. Reach out if anybody wants to be involved. Also, I have Hats Off season 4, the 4th season of my shows coming back on Thursday. It's every Thursday at 8:30. I'd say I get the keys from the gatekeepers, talk change with the change makers. I have a gentleman who has a pod called Mind of the Storm. He has a venue called Open Mics, and he is a poet as well as a military veteran, and some of the things that are happening now I want to ask a military veteran about. So we're going to chop it up. I got that coming up. I then have Battle of the Hearts. Battle of the Hearts is going to be on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Poetry battle, an art battle, a wine tasting, a culinary arts battle, or should I say a wing tasting, a guitar shred session with a couple of different local guitarists on that stage rocking out. So a bunch of just art emporium, if you will, coming from all the sides. So whether you come with somebody, I gotta bring a friend discount because it is Valentine's Day, or if you want to come dolo, again, you want to have come dolo and meet somebody to be a vibe. So that's Valentine's Day. And I just put out, or people will see me pushing out consistently, the Hats Off season 3 soundtrack. Every episode I do of my show, I open up with a new local artist. So I put them all together on one playlist, and that's the season 3 soundtrack. And every day, so the link is typically in my link tree, or if you follow me or whatever the case may be, you'll see the link, and I post it every day. I'm posting some of the tracks off the playlist in order with the link, so people can, to my link tree, so they can go ahead and get and listen to those artists. Like, it don't do nothing it's just to promote local music. So matter of fact, Killa Noise, go ahead, go skim through it yourself. You know it. You've been on it before.
I've been on it before. Yeah,
that's what we got going on.
That's dope. So one more thing before we get out of here. Just your advice for someone that's possibly that has this idea in their head that they're trying to bring to life, right? What would be your advice to that person?
Whatever you want to create, right? I do these things. Do the research on how people do it. Like, take some time. That if you care about it, figure out how people do it. If you're a performer, care about how people hold mics. If you're a singer, care about, hey, how many versions do you need to lead a studio with? Like, what does that sound like? Do you need an edited version? How do people make money doing what you do in your area or area you're willing to drive to? Right? That matters, because it's not to say that everybody needs to do the millionaire vibe. Okay, cool. You can do what you want to do. That's it. Right? For me, when I did Hats Off, all right, the brain goes into part of it. How can I get sponsorships? How can I make you make money? Like, I don't like, so if to do it how I was looking at it, right? And what are you, and how can you make money with it while maintaining your integrity of what you want to do? Again, learn what you, and then do it. Press the button, press go, press send, press upload it. The worst thing you can do is sit on your talent or your idea, because you work, because the longer you sit, the less likely you are to do it. I'm not saying, again, do some research. Yes, do some research, but don't get so lost in the planning process that you don't actually complete. Give yourself a timetable. By this date, I'm gonna start.
So a lot of times people sit and have an idea, and they just kind of wait. They're trying to wait for the perfect time. That perfect time. Listen, the perfect time is now, right? Press record. Start that show. Start that whatever you're planning on doing. You know what I'm saying? Sell whatever product that you're trying to sell. Right? The time is now. Essentially, you're going to learn. The more you do it, you're going to learn. Right? If and I'm gonna use this show as an example. If you go back to episode 1 and then you look at the most current episodes, you can see the progression and how the shows are done. Right? you're not going to learn more unless you do it. You have to get out there and do it, and you hit it right in the nail right there, brother.
Somebody looks at my first episode, and I just saw this. My structure of guests had to change. How I represented myself on the show had to change. How I spoke on the show. The amount of stuff I had to change from season 1 to season 3. But I didn't know. See, if you asked me from season 1, it was we rocking. It was season 1. It was perfect. We did exactly, man. Listen, okay. Right. I had to figure it out. So yeah. Can I ask you a question before we get out of here?
Shoot.
Who is your favorite local artist?
You know what? I don't think I necessarily have a favorite local artist.
Okay.
Right. And it kind of it just depends. I think there's some dope local artists. Right. I don't know if I have a favorite one. If we go off a favorite and probably most recent, right now in my car, what I seem to have been having on repeat, and I think he just dropped his LP probably a week ago, and it doesn't just correlate. Like I just had him on as a guest, but LDB Chiefer, right? Mm-hmm. The stuff that this project that I listen to now, I'm just like, yeah, this thing's a banger. Like, and I'm constantly listening to it, right? So, but can I sit here and say that he's probably my favorite artist? Probably not, because I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite artist. I just get happy when people are actually not putting out any bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And they're actually taking time into their talent and producing good stuff. You know what I mean? So, especially with knowing, because we've done the behind the scenes portion. We know the whole the recording process, the engineering, right? That counts, right? The engineering part, making sure you got a good quality sound that you're putting out, and then going forth with it. So, I mean, there's a lot of good people, Bird, you know what I'm saying? Taz, even though Taz might be, or he's no longer Taz now, but, Taz, even though he's living in Florida now, but he still comes out here. Or you got, what I mean? Like, Billy Blanco, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of different artists out here that's definitely doing their thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Salute to the DJ answer too. Listen, I'm not saying he's not for the truth, but that is a very DJ answer. If you ever want to listen, you ever want to ask somebody who might get hired by people to listen. I love all my. Okay, those is all my. I love them all. Actually, equally,
I love them all.
Okay, but I love them as even as the check is capitalist.
Who do you got? Who's on your top?
And I like a lot of artists. I think Low Cut Geno's album was fire last year. I'm a fan. Like that Low Cut Geno was fire. Yikes League just got something that's going crazy right now. So salute to him. I'm on Blue Tulip's album, but she's so we got a banger. There's a nice amount of different vibes. I got, Maya Millardo did her show with her, but she's a jazz artist. Crazy. Because we got a big jazz area here. So it's a nice amount of, Lovely Lay, P. Blueski. Blueski's my boy. Wilmington Whiskey go hard. Listen, if y'all don't know the people I'm talking about, go check out the Hats Off playlist. You see what I'm saying? Hey, you see what I'm saying? Go to my link tree, go and double tap, you know what I mean? For G Dash Jones. But yeah, Blueski is definitely one of my favorites. It's a nice amount of talent out here.
Yeah, I like Maya's joint, man. She definitely has some good stuff. It's when I'm having that vibe, that would just riding and just chilling, you know what I'm saying? I throw on that Maya album, and is real. Like she got a dope voice. I'm pretty sure it's the same band that performed with her that's on the album. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely doing a good thing. So yeah, I gave you the DJ answer. It's because I truly don't have a favorite, man. Like I truly don't have a favorite.
I love them all. I swear. Okay. I like them brown.
I do fool, and I hate to say this because I think I have more of a personal ties with him because I produced a couple joints on his LP that he just put out. But my guy El Vadio, and do we count that because he's originally from Brooklyn, he lived in Delaware, but he's now living in Florida. So do we count that as a local artist? I don't know, right? But El Vadio right now, if I know I want some lyrical joints and just have that essentially a New York vibe. Essentially, is what it comes down to. I'm throwing that, and I could run El Vadio's LP all the way through too. You know what I'm saying? Between El Vadio's LP, I could run all the way through, and Chieffer, like those two right now. And I don't have nothing to do with Chieffer's album, but I listened to it and I was like, this right here is crazy.
Okay, now this is a question. Yeah. I'm really asking you this because I'm on your platform and I'm just curious, and this flows, and I want to know, is based on how music has changed and everything that you've even just said about local artists, essentially, that you like a lot of them, but you know, based on what you know, is hip hop still your favorite genre at this point in your life?
It is.
It is. That is love. Oh,
it is.
That is love.
Like, let's think about it, man. There's so much, right? There's so much. Hip hop branches has such a big branch, right? It depends on what your vibe is. If I feel like I want to ride around, listen to some stuff I grew up off of, right? Some of that you know, some old 50, right? The 50 mixtapes before he was signed, right? Like if I want to hear that, or if I want to hear some, if I want to go back and listen to some Mobb Deep, right? Like there's so much. Or if I even want to go further, right? If I feel like, you know, I'm feeling KRS-One today, let's go listen to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's such a big, broad thing, man. Like hip hop is definitely still holds its place where it's supposed to be. Like that's hip hop, man. Like you can't change that.
What do you mean? It will never not be, because the greatness that made it there, it will always be there.
Exactly.
I get it, you know, because I think, you know, hip hop, it's evolved a lot. It's not necessarily the same.
So now listen, there was a point in time that I was sick of it, right? There's a point in time where I was like, you know, I'm over this, and all this mumble and all this non-lyricist, I'm out. Right? I'm out. I'm not even playing it. Like I'm not even DJing it. But slowly I've noticed that they're actually starting to care about their lyrics again, right? There's still some bullshit. There's still some BS out there. There's still definitely some BS. You know, the world loves Sexy Red. I think she actually sucks.
Well, okay, no,
right? But
I'm gonna time you out. I'm gonna time you out with Get It. Okay, I'm gonna time you out with Get It. Okay, Get It. I can't call her sexy. I don't think she's sexy, but I just gotta call it Get It. But here's what I'm gonna tell you about Red.
But listen, you can play it in the club. Like I'll still play it. I'll be out and I'll still play it. And get people dancing to it. That's definite. But I'm not listening to it in a car. I'm not driving around listening to it.
I think the world that loves Sexy Red, and maybe I'm wrong, we'll see. I think that world is changing, right? I think there's a world that loves Sexy Red because there was people who want to be able to talk like her because it's same fun, and then there was people who knew girls like her because if you grew up in the hood, you might have knew one. Right. But doesn't mean it didn't have enough substance to really last longevity. Last year she did a track with Bruno Mars. They pushed this whole album back after that. like real talk. Okay, we haven't heard. They ain't been getting it sexy in a while now. What happened? Okay. Drake had an amazing song with her, and then all of a sudden got his back kicked in. Okay, if you haven't like I don't know if she was the best luck. I don't know. Listen, all of so I don't necessarily see her. I think her light is kind of fading as it was. So I think that style, don't get it twisted, that style will be there, but I think you still like Megan can rap. Megan got like Megan can actually rap. Lotto can actually rap. So it's not to say that those who sell it, Lil Kim could actually rap. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's there, but I think some of the stuff that you're thinking about that can be phased out a little bit.
Right. Right. And that's all it is. You know, like whatever. You could talk, there's room to talk about anything. But I you know, sometimes I feel like I listen to some stuff and I'm like, what beat are they listening to when they're rapping? What beat? Because it's not the beat that they're rapping on. What is happening?
Well, okay, right. And they make me feel bad. They make me feel so bad because when I was younger, I was see, listen, they gotta watch to the end of this to get this quote. I liked Silk. I was Silk Shocker fan. Okay, I was. You can tell me that I liked Silk Shocker. He was even on Moving On with Maya. I learned that record. Like I was, what did I do that? I like the remix of It Ain't My Fault. I wanted all of them. Like, listen, I had that album. I had the Silk album. And that boy was all over the beat, like get my pen in the paper, like he couldn't. And now when I hear a Blueface, and I was like, oh, okay, and I get it. And salute the Blue if that's what they're doing. But there's an offbeat flow that happens, or some of that lazy type of flow that they do that's offbeat. And I'm like, part of what made rap dope to me. And what makes Eminem crazy, and some of the artists that you mentioned crazy, is I have between this beat and this beat to get this to rhyme. I might rhyme syllables, I might rhyme but part of it is the parameters of these two beats to do it, and that's what makes it creative. If you can figure it out in those two beats, you're so talented, just like a musician, right? With keys. And sometimes they don't be caring about them beats; they just be out there like this hard,
just whatever. Yeah.
It's hard, just like, it's hard, but you are flaccid. What is happening right now? All right. I was just saying, like, because we hit and salute them, because it ain't not, because I think that we also, while we totally sound like the old men in the room, they hit the world of vibe, right? Vibe started to be considered a thing, right? And
right.
You know, we probably look at vibe music differently than they do. I don't even like, if we were setting the vibe, you was about to make another kid. You see what I'm saying? Like, that was the vibe you were saying.
Yeah.
It was about the parent practice. I'm practicing. I was doing when I said the vibe. Okay. When they said the vibe, it's just more of, they may not care about the words. They may not care about
the beat either. Apparently, they might not just care.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Well, they can enjoy that vibe, because luckily there's other things to choose from.
Yeah. Yes. Because that's how Clips had an amazing album last year. That's how.
Yes.
You know,
I think, and not necessarily in the club wise or party wise, but I think 2025 seemed to be a good year for hip hop, and because we had a lot of good stuff that actually dropped. Like it got me excited again. You know what I'm saying? You had the Clips album that dropped. You had so many good stuff that was just dropping last year. So 2025 ended up being a really good hip hop year, and hopefully that's starting something new, and is bringing us into this 2026 with some new stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep that going. Like, yeah, there's gonna still be room for the rapping off beat and, you know, just saying words, but lyricism and what they say, riding the beat the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like, killing that beat. Like, what you want to do. What I used to say, and I come from like LOX time, right? Locks, right? Where they can get a beat that could probably be mediocre, but they made the beat. What they said on it, what those hooks were, the way they did that thing, they made the beat. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of, you know, hip hop is kind of heading back in that direction. Now there's some fire beats out there too. There's some competition, but hip hop is definitely heading back in that direction. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy for it. I'm all here for it. You know what I mean?
And I'm gonna tell you, the best example to that reminds me of Kiss was battling. Kiss was going at Beans. It's on the end of his album. The one, I think DMX might even be on it. I forget the record though. That beat, it's a disco beat. I hated that beat. I hated that beat. I tell you how much I hate. I was like, yo, it even says it in the song, got me rapping on the disco beat. Like, I was like, why are you talking about BDC? Listen, like the Broad Street Bully, you going over the disco. I was tight, but he snapped though. Like, it wasn't. Like you still got to hold that had to be held up as a hard diss record against, like, it was one of those. It was in the mix. The beat, as much as I hated it, it felt like, to what are we doing? He neck and neck throwing blows with that little disco joint. I was like, okay, it was great. You know what I mean? I thought it was too soft, but you could get it off. I think and there's a creativity to that, right? There's a creativity to being able to that you know, that's where we came from. The creativity in the bars and the beats and it was just a very creative world, you know.
Thank you for coming on the show. Definitely we're gonna have you back up on this joint for the debate, man. I think it's definitely gonna be a good debate. I like what you got going. I always try to give everybody their flowers at the end of the show, man. I definitely like what you got going on. Keep it going, right? You're focused. I'm looking forward to you actually making this Valentine's event a yearly event, hopefully, right? Keeping the same thing that you got going on. I think that'll be the vibe. That's the vibe. You know what I'm saying? So keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You like my brother, so you know you're my choice media brother. We we were birthed in the same place. You know what I'm saying? So you know, let's keep it going, brother. You know what I mean? As always, R.I.P. to Mr. G, the man who put it all together. So keep your thing going, brother. You know what I mean?
Yes. Salute to all the abolitionists and capitalism. I'm joking about capitalism, but salute to the abolitionists.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Get your money though. All right, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just.
My God, G Dash. And remember, doesn't matter what season you're in, whether it's the fallback, the get back, or the comeback. You're special. You got purpose. So get out there and get it. Peace.
Saying kicking it.